As you guys saw in my last video, this is my new to me 2005 STI. And I may have jumped the gun a little bit in that video when I said that I'm just going to toss a new motor in this car. You see, historically, I've always been pretty guilty of that, because my train of thought is I have to take this engine out to replace the clutch and fix a couple small leaks on this thing. Why not just put a new engine in? And like I said, I may have jumped the gun there a little bit. So today, we're gonna find out how healthy this engine actually is, and then make that determining factor of if we're going to put a new engine in this thing or not. So what an engine health test is going to consist of is a compression check and a leak down check. That's going to tell us the overall health of how this engine's doing. This is still a 110,000 mile EJ25 from 2005. This is unopened, factory gaskets, factory heads, factory motor. So who knows what we're gonna end up actually finding in there. I can tell you from driving the car, it feels for the most part okay. However, that can be a little bit deceiving of what we're going to find. So let me show you the tools that we're gonna be needing to do these jobs, and then let's just jump right into it. So on the table, we've got two different tools in front of me here. This one is a compression tester. This one is a leak down tester. We're gonna start with the compression tester, then move down to leak down. Now, what the compression test is going to show us is if any cylinder is lower on compression than another, and it reads that via PSI. Now, we're not necessarily looking for a specific number on this compression tester, because for the most part, any compression tester that you use is going to read different from tester to tester. What we're looking for is variance across the cylinders, unless they're all just incredibly low, then that's obviously gonna be a red flag. Now, on a slightly warm EJ, I'm gonna expect to see between 120 and 140 is what I'm gonna expect to see off of this tester. Like I said, some testers are gonna vary and whatnot, but 120 to 140 is what we're looking for here. On the cylinder leakage tester, pending that this comes back, and let's say we do have low compression in one cylinder, this is going to tell us where it's leaking from. So what this is gonna do is allow us to pump air into the cylinder. We're gonna close the valves, and then we're gonna see how much it's leaking by. So we have one gauge that will set the pressure to, and then the other one is what we're seeing for the leak down. So we'll probably just set it to 100, and then we can just check to see if it's at 90, we've lost 10%. If it's at 80, we've lost 20%. If it's at 70, we've lost 30%, and so on and so on. Before we start ripping things apart, what we're gonna have to be able to access to run these tests is where the spark plugs are. So what we're gonna have to do is take the air inlet tube out, the intake out, the intake box out. The battery will have to come out. I'll probably remove this wiper tank just to give me a little bit more room to be able to get down there. We're gonna remove the coil packs, remove the spark plugs, and then we can start doing our test. Coil pack number one. Oh, it's probably time for spark plugs anyways. Cylinder 3 also looks like it's probably about time to be changed. Oh, that came off very easy. Go. With all of our spark plugs out, we're gonna go ahead and hook up the compression tester. We're gonna start on cylinder 1 and 3, which is the passenger side. I've drawn a little chart over here, so that way we can record down all of our numbers. So I have cylinder, the same layout of the engine. This is the front, this is the back, and this is as if you're looking at the engine. So cylinder 1, cylinder 3 is passenger side. Cylinder 2, cylinder 4 are gonna be our driver side. So we're gonna start with 1 and 3 just because we have to take the battery in and out to do the other side. So when it comes to the compression tester, you're typically going to have something like this, which has like a quick disconnect style fitting on it, and then you're gonna have some leads over here. The leads, you're gonna have to make sure that the thread pitch on the lead that you have is the same as your spark plug. So if you're ever curious, you can just kind of hold up the lead to your spark plugs and verify that the threads are the same. For the case for the Subaru, it's gonna be an M14 adapter that we're gonna be using. So we're gonna thread this into cylinder. We'll start on cylinder 1, then we'll go to cylinder 3, then we'll do 2 and 4, and we'll get our compression numbers that way. And I'll show you guys how to do the compression check. There's a couple more steps that we gotta do before we just go ripping into this, but let's at least get our lead installed into our cylinder. We're gonna funnel this guy down, And we're just gonna kind of start willy-nilly twisting and moving it around up until it grabs threads. You're not necessarily gonna be able to cross thread it with this. I mean, I guess you could if you're like the Hulk and you're like really going at it, but for the most part you should be okay. It's just finding the hole. Inline engines are a little bit easier. So now we've got our lead hooked up to cylinder 1. Next thing we're gonna do is disconnect the crank position sensor, which is underneath the alternator. I'll try to get you guys the best shot that I have a spare engine with no oil pumps, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to show you. I'll show you guys on that. Crank position sensor right down here, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to just disconnect this. And what that's, there we go. So it's disconnected, the wire is pulled out, and the whole reason that I have that out is just so the engine doesn't try to start. Granted, we have the coil packs unplugged, it shouldn't start regardless, but disconnecting that is gonna be a huge thing. Now when we're cranking it, we're also gonna have the fuel floored, so that way we're in flood clear mode, so that way the car doesn't try to start, because you don't want the car to start. Normally we'd pull a fuel pump fuse, but on these cars, we don't have one. We have a relay, but the fuse and the relay are kind of really annoying to get to, so we're just gonna put it in flood clear mode and crank it when we do go to turn this over. We can go ahead and hook up this quick connect fitting right there, and now we've got our gauge chilling. I've got the battery hooked back up. I'm gonna hop inside of the car, crank it with my foot floored, and we're gonna get our compression number for cylinder number 1. We've got cylinder 1. All we did was crank it for a couple seconds, and we've got about, right as I called it, 110, 115 PSI there, so I'm gonna call it right in the middle at 112. We can go ahead and reset the gauge here. We're gonna go ahead and move our compression tester to cylinder 3 and repeat the process. This is something that's really easy to do at home if you ever have any concerns with your engine or anything else like that. Cylinder 3 can be a little annoying to get this to thread into. I say that as I get it first try. Cylinder 3, we've got about the same, 115 to 112. Okay, no, it's about 112. It's a little bit past 110, which is good. That means cylinder 1, cylinder 3 have about the same compression. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump over to the driver's side and do cylinders 2 and 4. We'll start with 4 because it's a little bit easier to access, then we'll go to 2. And we are looking at, wow, actually higher compression in cylinder 4 at 120 PSI. It's honestly quite the opposite of what you'd expect out of a Subaru. So 120 on cylinder 4. What are we looking at? Once again, it's higher, 120, like 119. Realistically, that was probably like, it's just below 120. I'd probably say like 118. Honestly, these are very strong and good compression results that we're seeing on a 110,000 mile factory EJ25 that's never been opened up. Now, compression numbers only tell half the story. Why is cylinder 1 and cylinder 3 8 PSI down? Your guess could be as good as mine. We don't know an answer until we test it, which is where the leak down tester comes in. Which honestly, it's kind of ass backwards because cylinder 2 and cylinder 4 were at 120 and cylinder 1 and cylinder 3 were both at 112. So why is there an 8 PSI loss on the passenger side? Well, it could be, I guess it could only be head gasket, piston rings, valves. But we can check that. We can actually tell where the air is going to be escaping. So let me get the compression tester off and let me show you how to use the leak down tester. And now I've got the cylinder leak tester on cylinder 3. I've already done cylinder 1 just to validate that the method I'm using is correct. So what we're going to do is turn over the crankshaft and we will see this needle start to spin on the compression stroke. Once we come up, we'll see that needle moving. Once that needle's not moving anymore, that means the piston's gonna be at the top of that cylinder. That's when we're gonna start introducing air. So we don't wanna just blast 100 PSI into the cylinder. We wanna gradually increase this. And then the difference between our air pressure on the left and our actual leakage pressure on the right is going to be how much the cylinder is leaking by. So on the last cylinder, what I just saw, we were putting 100 PSI in and we're seeing 95 PSI in leak down, which is honestly a very good, very healthy engine, especially at this mileage. So start turning this over until we get to the compression stroke right there. You can see the needle start to move, boom. Let it rest back down, boom. let it rest back down. Boom, let it rest back down. Right there. So right there, we're roughly at the top of the stroke because the needle is no longer moving when I turn the crank, and you don't want to do big increments. So I'm going to hold the crankshaft with the big ratchet I have so that way it doesn't go smacking. I'm slowly going to introduce pressure into this. You guys can see pressure coming up. This one's looking a little bit weaker than the last side. So right there we're at 100 and we're at 92. Actually, let me go up a little bit more. Right there's 100. We're at 3, so we have 7% leakage on cylinder 3. These are great numbers for this engine, surprisingly enough. So we have 7% leakage on 3, 5% leakage on 1. What I'm anticipating seeing on this side is honestly probably better leak down numbers, considering this side did have slightly higher compression than the other side did. Try to get this hose a little bit tight because you can leak air pressure past it and it will skew your readings. Let me start turning the engine over until we get to the compression stroke on 2. And oh, there it is, 1. Baby pulls right there. That looks good. Grab our air line, and you don't have to have a big air compressor for this. You can have a small one, but start pumping some air pressure in here. Okay, so we're at 100 there. Let it stabilize. 92 is what we're seeing, so 8% leakage on cylinder 2, which is great. It's really easy to set. See, the O-ring started to leak, but we got our measurement. 8% leakage, cylinder 2. If you ever have a head gasket issue in one of these cars too, and you go to do this test, you'll see bubbles in your cooling system. So another just good thing to remember. Cylinder 4 is gonna be the annoying one, isn't it? Start cranking this till I get compression stroke. Right there. Right there. Right there. So that's TDC. Hold our tool here and start putting some pressure in there. It's fighting the engine. It's trying to push the piston back down, so we are not at TDC on that one. Okay. All right, there, it's not right. Damn, dude. Cylinder 4 is sitting at 98. 98 PSI. That is a 2% leakage on cylinder 4, which is reportedly the one that everyone hates on. That's crazy. So we have a 2% leakage on 4, which that means this car did just pass the test that I allocated for it, where if leak down was between 10 and 15% or lower, I'd send it. So honestly, it's a healthy engine. It looks like I still have to pull the engine out, put a clutch on it, but looks like we're just sending it, you guys. Overall, really good numbers out of our EJ here. Cylinder 1, 112 compression. Cylinder 2, 118. Cylinder 3, 112. Cylinder 4, 120. Leak down on the best was 2% on cylinder 4. Leak down the worst was 8% on cylinder 2. Now, let's say you did not get phenomenal leak down test results. You're gonna have an issue inside of the engine with it obviously holding air inside of the cylinder. So what you can do is you can actually listen to where the air is coming out of. If the air is coming out of your intake manifold or your throttle body, that means that your intake valves are leaking. If your air is coming out of the exhaust, that means your exhaust valves are leaking. If the air is coming out of your oil cap, that means that your piston rings are leaking. And if you see bubbles coming out of your cooling system, that means that your cooling system has a compromised head gasket. So it's going to be one of those things. So always start with a compression test and then move to leak down. Don't just jump straight to leak down. I mean, you can, but a compression test will at least narrow down where the issue might be if you have a problem like this. A leak down test is a really good tool to have, and you can buy both of these tools for under 200 bucks and they will save you a ton of money. I was just going to toss an engine in this thing because of the mileage, but after seeing how good of numbers that we have on this engine, we're just going to rock it and we're going to send this engine. So now that we have everything completed and our engine health check checks out phenomenal, we are going to go ahead and toss some new spark plugs in this thing because the ones that I took out are pretty grungy. So let's get our new NGK 2309s shoved into this EJ, get everything reassembled, fire it back up, and then we should be done with our health check on our EJ25. We've got new plugs in. We've done our health check. Everything is very healthy, obviously. Go ahead, fire it up. It might throw a check engine light because I had stuff disconnected. I did have the battery out though, so it should have reset that. So we should be chilling. Should be is the key word. With new plugs. We got new plugs in here too. Haha! Our healthy ass EJ lives. Not that I didn't think it would. I knew it would. It's technically all we replaced with spark plugs and check some stuff, but I don't like to turn these on and shut them off immediately, so I'm gonna let it run for a minute. It's really not hard to test this stuff at home if you want to. And like I said, you can get both that leak down tester and that compression tester for under 200 bucks. If you have any concerns about your engine or whether you bought a new one like this and you want to see the overall health of it, both of those tools will give you a very solid reality check on how healthy your engine is. If you want to take it a step further, obviously inspect the engine for oil leaks, coolant leaks, fuel leaks, anything else that may be going wrong. Look at mounts, engine mounts, pitch stop, and transmission mounts. The engine mounts, if you do have an oil leak, will wear out significantly quicker because they are a rubber mount. Petroleum from the oil to petroleum in the rubber mount, they eat each other, your mount's gonna fail. So overall, not too difficult to do. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about doing a compression test or a leak down test on your Subaru, or this can be applied to any car for the most part, like the same principle follows, whether it's an inline engine, a V engine, or a flat engine. They all compression test and leak down test for the most part the same. That is all I've got for you guys on this one. I will link both of those tools down below if you want to snag any of them. And with that, if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you, but the color of the day today is aspen white for our STI here. And if you're not subscribed already and you want to be, put in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.